To my knowledge, the most popular knives in use today by workers and outdoor enthusiasts are the 4.5 inch lockback types. The lockback utility knife is also very popular. My name is George Hurst. In this program, we will show you how to design and make custom cases for your own knives. I have a piece of 85-pound paper here, or cardstock as they call it, to make our pattern. I've folded it in half and put a line right down the middle. So to make our pattern, we will lay our knife with the sides exactly on that line, dividing it from one side to the other. Now I will take my pencil and I will draw a line all the way around the knife. And now we will begin planning for the case. I'll take my ruler and starting from right here on the edge of the knife, I've got like 3/4 of an inch. Now, I know that the knife is a little more than a 1/2 inch thick, so let's estimate that at 3/4. So I want to add out here now for the thickness of the knife. So we're going to be making a 2-piece case. So half of that would be 3/8 of an inch. So I'll put a mark at 3/8. Now I've got to concern myself with a stitch line and some leather other than that, so I'll add another 1/4 of an inch. Now I'll add 1/8 of an inch for the thickness of the leather. So I've got now 3/4 of an inch. So on the other side, I will also add 1, 2, 3/4 of an inch. So now from my center to here, I've got 1.5 inches. So I'll come down here and I'll mark 1.5, 1.5, and I'll do the same thing down here. I'll mark 1.5 and 1.5. Now, let me take my ruler and draw a straight line between those marks. And that'll be the width of our case. So now the next thing we'll do is come down here to the bottom of the case and we'll add the 3/4. So now I can just kind of draw an arc here. This will be the bottom of our case, and doesn't have to be fancy, just draw an arc. Now we need to determine how high we want the front piece to be. I told you this will be a 2-piece, so we'll have a front piece, which will be the pocket, and the back will be the back and the flap. So let's come down here about 1 inch and make a little mark here. Now let's take our square and we'll draw a line exactly across right there where will be the top of our pocket. Okay, now we can take our knife and our square and let's cut that out. We'll cut right on those lines. Now I will cut the other side. Now let's take our knife and put it back on there. By the way, you notice that I put the narrowest part of the knife to the bottom of the case. Now at this point in time, we got to remember that on the front part we're going to have a snap, so we'll locate that snap about 1 inch down from the top and put a mark right there. Now we'll know approximately where that is, and we will take and flick the flap over. We know where this mark is, so that's about where our snap will be. So we'll know that to be right about here. Now we can kind of draw. Now let's double check with our knife. Everything looks good. So now we will make the pocket. To make the pocket, it's just a matter of finding a piece of cardboard of the right size. We'll draw the bottom, and then we will carefully make a little mark here and one on the other side for the top of the case. Now we will take our square and make a line across the top of the pocket. Now let's kind of just take our pencil and we'll draw a little drop to make it easier to get the knife out of the case. Notice that I didn't go all the way to the edge because we'll have stitching coming in here and here. And now it's just a matter of locating our position for the snap. And now we will take our shears and cut these parts. And here are our pattern pieces ready to cut leather. We have the back and the flap. We have the front, and we also have a piece that we'll make for the belt loop. This is just a piece that's 1 1/4 by 3 1/2 inches. I will now use a scratch awl to go around the outer perimeter of my pattern, and the leather I'm using here is about a 5 to 6 ounce. You could use a 4 to 5, a 6 to 7, or a 5 to 6. I think a 4 to 5 will be just fine. It would never wear out. And you'll want to mark here for your front snap. And then here where the top of the case comes in, let's put a little mark right near the edge. This will help us locate the front when we glue the thing together. So now we will use a good sharp knife and our straight edge whenever we can, and we'll cut out the parts. To cut the rounded areas, you can use a knife, or if you have a good quality shears, you can cut these parts of the pattern with the good shears. And here we have our 3 parts all cut out. Now I'm going to use a punch the proper size and punch a hole for the male part of the snap. Now the one on the flap, I will not punch that until later. So now, if you're going to do any tooling, now is the time to do it.